I'm looking at new and different ways to store this eggplant. Uh, Typically doesn't store very well, so I've made eggplant parmigiana, baba ganoush, eggplant salad, eggplant fritters, fried eggplant, ratatouille, and I'm not going to be able to keep up with them because I've got these, and I've still got these over here, those over there. And I'll have more this week. So I'm gonna make some pickled eggplant just to try it, see how we do. I'm following somebody else's recipe. We'll try it and then modify it as we need to because I'll have eggplant until probably October at least. So let's cut these up. We're going to start off with about 2.5 to 3 pounds of eggplant. This is more than I need right here. I'll probably end up taking some of these I'll cut them and then weigh them. So we'll see. Let me get cutting these things up. All right, so out of those 7 eggplants, I got a little over 2.5 pounds or about 5 kilos. Now I left some of the skin on there just because I like the color. And that's about a good size right there, about the size of a steak fry or something. I'm going to go ahead and salt these and we'll let them sit for 24 hours. All right, so we're going to add 1 cup of salt, kind of toss it around to coat everything in here. It's just coarse kosher salt. Don't worry, you're just doing this to soak the water out of the eggplant. So it's not going to be really salty when you're done because you're going to rinse most of this off of here. All right, it's been 24 hours. You need to drain this eggplant. So that's what you're going to end up with. There's lots of liquid in the bottom there. We're just going to drain that out into a colander here. Now I'm going to put something over top of this to kind of mash it down a little bit, put some weight to it. And the only thing I've got is this frying pan here, which doesn't even really fit, so I need to put something else in there. Let's see what I got here. That'll work. We're going to let that sit for probably 2 or 3 hours, and then we're going to put vinegar in it and let it sit overnight. So this is day 2. This is like a 3-day process. Day 1, you soak it in salt. Day 2, you drain it and soak it in vinegar. And then day 3, you mix everything together, and that's it. Okay, I've drained these for about 3 hours now. Eggplant. So I'm going to transfer them back to my container here. That's about what they look like there. Flattened out, squeezed them, and get all the juice out of them. That's the liquid we got out of there. So now we're going to put in 3 cups of white vinegar and soak them again for another 24 hours. Then we can start putting them in jars after that. Okay, it's been 24 hours or slightly more than 24 hours of soaking the eggplant in vinegar. Now I'm going to drain it and let it drain for 2 or 3 hours. And then we'll mash out the rest of the vinegar by hand. Okay. So it's kind of the same thing again. We're going to let this drain. And we're going to put a weight back on top of it. I'm just using the frying pan with this plastic lid thing here. All right, we got that. And we're just going to do the same thing. Kind of mash it down. Squeeze some of the vinegar out of there. And I'm just going to put weight back on top of it and wait, and then we'll come back later and we'll mash the rest of that out of there by hand. We want to get as much of the vinegar out of there as possible before we mix it together. Okay, this should be putting together the pickled eggplant. This is what we ended up with. Doesn't look like a whole lot out of 7 eggplants, does it? It's reduced quite a bit, so dump it in our bowl there. This is our mix of calls for 3 cloves of garlic in the recipe. I put 6 in there, 6 or 7 sliced up. And called for 3 red peppers. I used some of the purple cayenne peppers we grew, and I put 6 of them in there. And then it called for 2 tablespoons of, or 2 teaspoons of fennel seed, and 2 tablespoons of oregano, dried oregano. So I'm just going to dump that in there and mix it up a little bit. Now we're putting oil in there now. I'm just using canola oil. Really, you could use any vegetable oil. I'm just following what they do in the recipe. So she called for 30 cups of neutral oil. And now I'm going to start spooning it in a jar here. Now this will have to cure for a little while to meld all the flavors together. So I give it probably at least a week probably. I'm going to taste this after a while, probably tonight, just to see. So Scoop a little oil down in the bottom of the jar there. See if I can do this without making a total mess. I made a little mess. It's to be expected though. I thought this jar was going to be entirely too large, but I'm probably going to need 2 jars. Pack it down in there as tight as you can get it. And you want to have the oil up over top of the eggplant there, so we'll probably have to add a little bit more oil. It's an old kimchi jar. Worked out pretty good though. Maybe just I would think that it'd be better with olive oil, but olive oil you can't really refrigerate it, so this regular oil you can refrigerate. We'll see how long this lasts though. Maybe next time I'll make it with olive oil. We'll see. I'm gonna have more eggplant this year, probably more out there today. We'll see how this turns out, and then we'll modify it as we need to. If we want to try basil or mint or more garlic, less garlic, more fennel seeds, whatever. So we'll see. Like I said, I added more garlic. I added twice as much garlic and twice as much pepper as she had in there. Because it seems like my crew here, every time I do something with garlic, they say it needs more garlic. I did that pesto a couple of weeks ago and ended up using 3 times as much garlic on the second batch as I did on the first, and that was almost perfect. And they loved it with more garlic. So let's seal this up and see how it turns out. It looks good enough. We'll let it marinate for a while and we'll try it later on and see how it tastes. Like I said, it's going to be like a lot of things, the longer it marinates, the better it is. So if it's good, this jar won't last a week if it turns out really good. All right, that's it for the pickled eggplant.